Today I have 12 more films that won't break your heart because the Sapphic ladies get their happy ending, which, yes, I have made an entire series about because I think we've been burned so many times over the years that it is a genuine question I see asked all too often, even today, when it comes to Sapphic content. This list comes entirely from those of you who have commented on previous parts of the series, so thank you. Starting with Healed, a 2023 release and can be found for free on YouTube, for which I have a link in the description. It follows a pregnant lesbian couple who go away for a week-long spiritual private retreat only to find themselves caught up in a secret experiment that could impact the rest of their lives. It's marked as a thriller and looks like it gets pretty intense, so there is that, but they end up relatively unharmed, by which I mean the baby is fine, they're covered in blood but otherwise unharmed, and they're together at the end. You might recognize actress Emily Goss, who has appeared in the Christmas film Season of Love and in the film Snapshots, and I have enjoyed her performances before, so that's certainly a plus in my books. Her co-star Chantal Yasmin Abedera was in another film that has made it onto a previous list, Girls Like Magic. Next we have The Subsitute, a 2017 film from Taiwan about Lu, who has been brought up more or less as a boy because her mother was raising her as a replacement to her absent brother who was off in Beijing. This means she sports short hair and captains her school's judo team. When she competes in a tournament to win the lead role in an action movie, she meets Nicole and develops a crush on her. Nicole wins the role, but when she disappears days before the shooting, Lu finds herself thrown into the part. I have a link to the movie in the description. Bye Blondie is a French film from 2011 where two women who had been in love as teenagers reconnect in their 40s, only to find that their relationship is just as tempestuous as it was in their youths. It boasts Emmanuel Béard and Béatrice Dalle in the lead role, although reviews on IMDb peg it as a mediocre film and suggest that the book the film was based on is a much better read. Still, it's a Sapphic film with a happy ending, so it gets a spot on the list. Rescuing Desire is a film from 1996 where Toni finds herself faced with her own mortality when her teenage son dies. Determined to live her life fully, it resurfaces a long-denied desire to explore her sexuality. With the support of her best friend, Van, she steps out into a new world where she can not only explore what it is to be a woman, but what it is to throw off the ill-fitting cloak of conformity. I found a low-quality version of the film on YouTube with what looks like Dutch subtitles that I've linked. Next we have What's Up Scarlet, which looks to be an indie rom-com movie from 2005 about a workaholic woman whose job is to matchmake, only she herself is very single despite her mother's best attempts to set her up with a man. When Scarlet crashes into a homeless actress's car one day, she lets her stay temporarily at her home, not expecting that she might just have crashed into the love of her life. This looks like to be a relatively low-budget, possibly overacted and over-the-top film, but it still might be worth checking out. Butterfly is a 2004 movie from Hong Kong about a married teacher who bumps into a vivacious young singer, and this encounter reawakens dormant feelings she's tucked away from when she had a fling with a woman as a teen. This leads her on a journey to accepting a part of herself she thought she'd left behind. This looks like to be a quiet and emotional film, one that ends well, however. There is a playlist for this movie on YouTube with English subs, however one of the parts is unavailable unfortunately, but I've still linked it all the same just in case. The next one boasts Eva Longoria playing Sapphic in what looks like to be a pretty light-hearted, probably quite silly rom-commy kind of film, where due to all the men being forcefully recruited to fight with communist guerrillas, a Latin American town finds itself left with only the women. With no one in charge, Rosalva, wife of the mayor, volunteers to step up as all the women learn how to take care of all the things the men used to do. As Rosalva steps out of the shadow of her husband, she also finds herself attracted to a lesbian drifter. Could this be true love? Now, the IMDb review almost ubiquitously pans this film, so my expectations around it are pretty low despite there being a few known names in there. But I don't know, sometimes a silly, mediocre film is just the ticket to veg out to, especially if it has Saphics in them and you know it ends well. A more recent film is Backspot from last year, which looks at the grueling and high-octane competitive sphere of cheerleading. When Riley and her girlfriend Amanda are selected to be on an all-star cheer squad, they are faced with a coach who will push them to their limits. The movie stars Devery Jacobs, who also starred in the excellent series Reservation Dogs, and has Evan Rachel Wood playing the coach, so 2 excellent queer actors headlining. I heard tepid reviews on the grapevine, and IMDb has no reviews, so I'm not sure how good it actually is. Girl's Blood, a 2014 Japanese film, is touted as an erotic action film. I'm sure there are plenty of these kinds of films out there, but it's my first time coming across such a genre combination. From reviews, it appears the action part of it is well done, and perhaps the erotic part a bit cringy, according to one of the reviews. It follows 4 young women, each with their own past, who belong to an illegal underground catfight club where 2 of them fall in love. Claire of the Moon from 1992 follows Claire, who has recently split from her husband. Struggling with some writer's block, she goes to an all-women's writer's retreat where she finds herself sharing a house with Noelle, who reveals she is a lesbian. As time goes on, she finds herself confused at how she is attracted to Noelle, and it ultimately leads to her falling into bed with her. This is the only film on this list that I have actually seen, but it wasn't my fave. However, it is a classic and you might enjoy it. You can watch it on Tubi, link in the description. Then we have Desperate Remedies, a surrealist, highly stylized 19th century romp of a film from New Zealand. It follows Dorothea, shopkeeper and dress designer who works with her lady love Anne, who is trying to keep her sister Rose away from her former lover by enlisting the help of a roguish man, Lawrence. Instead of saving her sister, she finds herself in a tortured triangle with Lawrence. The ending is more satisfying because in the end, Dorothea escapes the clutches of her husband to reunite with the love of her life, Anne. The film is available for rent or purchase on the New Zealand Film On Demand website. Finally, I have Bao Bao, a Taiwanese film that looks at a lesbian and gay couple who both want kids, and so they decide to help each other out. I wasn't quite clear on the situation and what was going on, but things get complicated, it seems, and it looks like the lesbian couple spend some time apart. Then there is some bury your gays, but not for the ladies, it's the men who die. So I guess a brief mention only because it's technically a happy ending for the ladies, but at what cost? The movie is available on YouTube with subs, so I have linked that in the description for you. That's it for this list. Next, I think I will slowly update my TV shows that won't break your heart series because that one is a bit out of date. And if you want a butt ton of recommendations of both film and TV with happy endings, click on the playlist on your screen. Until next time, lady lovers.